Okay, guys, you ready for this McDonald's menu tier list?
Of course, Obama. McDonald's is a classy place, a great place. Everyone is talking about it.
McDonald's. I remember back in the day when me, Mayfair Mickey, and Little Joanne Jellybean worked at McDonald's for a summer. It was a great summer full of hijinks, tomfoolery, and a little bit of shenanigans. We worked in the sweltering kitchen for a nickel a day, but we didn't complain. It was true, honest work. After work, we'd head down to the old ice parlor and get a chocolate shake from old Mr. Rathburn, and then head out to park to have a few cold ones that we snuck from our parents. It was perfect until one day we were pulling out of the park and we ran over a police officer who was walking back to his car. We got out of the car and he was alive, but Mickey panicked as we all had been drinking and began beating the officer to death while screaming, "I can't go to prison, I can't go to prison." Little Joanne tried to stop him, but Mickey was too strong, and after about a minute the officer was dead. Little Joanne began sobbing hysterically and began to run towards the car, saying she was going to tell the police, but Mickey then grabbed her, slammed her head on the front of the car, and began to choke her out, saying he didn't want some dumb broad ruining his chance at college. Before long, she was dead and threw her lifeless corpse on the ground next to the officer. He then looked at me, blood spattered across his face, and charged me. I ran towards the officer and grabbed his gun and shot old Mickey in the head, and he fell to the ground dead. I looked around at the carnage and realized I would be blamed for all of this, so I decided I need to get rid of the evidence. I washed the blood off my car and I piled the bodies into the cop's car trunk and drove it car down to the lake. I took some heavy stones I found in the woods and used the rope in the officer's trunk to weigh the bodies down. After that, I took a canoe off the nearby dock and stowed the two bodies of my friends in the back while leaving the cop under a blanket in the trunk. I paddled out into the middle of the lake before throwing them overboard. I stared at them sink to the bottom of the lake for what seemed like an eternity. Seeing my friends who I spent an entire summer with just sink to the bottom of the lake was a horrifying thing for a young lad to see, but I knew it needed to be done. I paddled back to shore and got in the officer's car. I needed to make it disappear so no one would know he was here, so I decided to drive it down to the old quarry. I got out of the car and pushed it off the cliff into the quarry, thousands of feet down with the cop's body in the trunk still. I then walked back to the park, and boy, I tell you, that was a walk. I saw a little squirrel playing with a tree nut, and I tell you, that was funny. I drove home and parked my car in my driveway as the sun rose up. My dad came running out, and I told him I hit a deer on the way home after falling asleep in my car after work. He was angry, but he understood. Did you know that fixing the front of the car only cost $1.50? What a crazy time, right? Well, the next morning, a missing person report was put out on my friends, and the officer in the town was shook. I was the face of the search for my friends, as everyone knew we were thick as thieves. I masterfully volunteered to be put in charge of the search so no one would suspect it was me, and I went on TV begging for any information about my friends. They never found their bodies or the cop, but old Mr. Rathburn never looked at me the same. He told everyone that he saw my friends with me at the park, but everyone said he was insane as I could never do anything to my best buds. They bullied him into alcoholism, and he ended up losing his ice cream parlor before he left town, never to be seen again. So that's the story of the summer I spent at Wendy's.
Joe, oh my God, what the hell is wrong with you? You covered up 3 deaths. I need to call the police.
Even worse than that, Joe, you ruined the tier list. I'm getting the FBI on the line.
Obama, Trump. I've cut the phone lines to your houses. I'm not going to let you ruin my presidency.
Joe, no, please, no.
I'd never think that 60 years later I'd be disposing of 2 new bodies in a lake. Joe, you still got it. Hey, Jill, after I dispose of 2 bodies, can I get some chocolate chip? Oh boy, I do love myself some chocolate chip. And Burger King. After that cool, refreshing cone of chocolate chip, I can call up Bush and Cheney and make an Arby's tier list.